Hello, YouTube. Gorilla Todd in the flesh. Hey, I see all my friends in the chat. Good to see you guys. Say hello to all of you first thing first. Let's see. We got Papa Wheelie in first. How you doing, Papa Wheelie? Good to see you in the chat. What's up, Evan Shimko? Good to see you. Sorry, I was running a few minutes late. 5 minutes because I just ordered some awesome holographic stickers. And everybody that's here, if you order anything from me, and I'll ship one with you. It's a cool holographic sticker. I hope it's cool. I mean, I sent the artwork in, so we'll see how we'll have to see how it comes out. But if you noticed the waiting screen, I'm working on my design. I did design years and years ago, so I'm not up on all the technology and everything. I mean, I used it, I'm talking like 20 years ago. Then I decided I was more into paper and pencil, but now it's kind of, you got to have some computer skills. So there it goes. What's up, Glenn Smith? Good to see you in the chat, my friend. And of course, got my good buddy C Squared. Always good to see you. Did I? No. Wait a second. Okay. And we got Amy Cleaver. Hello, Amy. Good to see you in the chat. That's a pretty cool icon. I can't see. Is that Princess Leia? I'm not even sure. What's up, Spooky2384? Good to see you. Yep. I got the stickers coming, and I'm working on the T-shirts and the other items. I might even get some cool hats. I don't know. I got a good hookup. I got some of my closest friends back in Florida. They got a company called M&P Apparel, and they do screen printing and direct-to-garment printing, and they do embroidery. They do it all in-house, so they're gonna take good care of me. And if anybody ever needs any of that kind of work, I give them my highest recommendation possible. What's up? We got Kay Titus. Yes, hello from the rising sun in Japan. Konnichiwa, my friend. Great to see you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie. I've had this one for quite a few years. It's getting a little snug. I gotta work on that a little. Marshall Lewis is here. We can begin. Yep. Gorilla Todd in the flesh. I love the little gorilla icon. You say it, Amy, and I got it. I got a new, pretty cool set. I'll show it to you. Where did I put it? Well, it's in this box. So I got about a half a short box of stuff, mostly new stuff, and some Vampirella, because I know what you guys like. Yeah. Yep. Well, I like to think of this as the symbiote Spider-Man. You know, this is, well, maybe it's Venom. I don't know. But I might have had it back then. Everybody saying hello to everybody. Cool. We got a good little group in the chat. I love all you guys. I got love in my heart for every one of you, because we all love the same stuff. What is up, my brother from another mother? You know, if any, and like, look, if any of you guys, any of you ladies or gentlemen, you ever want to join me, pop in, just let me know. I'll send you the link. I'm not, you know, the more the merrier. Comics in the Mind, you know, you're welcome anytime on anything I do. And everything is great. And I'm looking forward to, we got, just so everybody knows, we got our 11th episode of Teacher's Lounge happening Thursday on Comics on the Mind's YouTube channel, also known as Mind Shift. I gave you props. I gave you props, Papa Wheelie. You were first shout out I gave. So yeah, we're excited. The last episode, the 10th episode, was a whole lot of fun. We had a bunch of guests, and we had some great conversations about comics and stuff. So you never know what we're going to talk about, but please, we always appreciate anybody who hops in and says hello. I see my guest has popped in. I'm going to bring him in a moment. Well, you guys are all saying hello to each other. Let him introduce himself. We have my friend, and we did not even coordinate. We did not even
look at that.
coordinated shirts, but we're both in the Spider family tonight.
Oh, glad to be here, Todd. Yeah, sorry I got here a little late. I was finishing up dinner.
I told everybody I was like 5 minutes late myself because I looked at my email. I got this offer. I ordered some holographic stickers. Why not?
Oh, cool.
Why not start the swag coming as soon as possible. And I'm gonna keep.
I agree. You got a great logo and stuff.
Oh, I appreciate that. I mean, I really will tell you, I didn't rush it. A lot of people were like, a couple of my friends were like, come on, logo. Because all I had for a while was this little sketch I did of this vampire guy, which had no connection to my name. It just happened to be the sketch I had handy. And then Jeff Schultz was nice enough to AOK me a version of the Kind Gorilla from Magic, which I used for a little while, and I still have that file. It's an awesome gorilla. And then I did that first Comic-Con show with Meta, and we had an artist named Mia Hamm on the show, and she was really cool, and she showed us a lot of her artwork, and one of them was a gorilla, and I was like, wow, she just draws a pretty wicked gorilla. And all I wanted was like a cartoony version. I told her thing in the vein of like Magilla Gorilla, Grape Ape, those type of things. And she did the drawing. And then I have a friend who's a graphic designer, and he's actually the one who kind of finalized the logo and made it, I think, made it what it is, and really like tied it up. And I love his color choices. We got primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. And if you look at the card, I was looking at it, I'm like, gosh, it reminds me of the old Charlton circle.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, not exactly, but just the shape and the double circle. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm making that more in my head than it actually is, but it's cool. It's cool. I liked it when I first saw it because it had the stars, and that made me think, that's kind of a little nod to DC in a way, because for years they had the DC bullet.
Yeah, you got the glasses on, and a little bit more hair on top, but
Yeah, but it's an idealized.
Yeah.
It's not literal. But she made it, and I just gave her a very rough idea. And I felt like she knocked it out of the park. I couldn't.
Yeah, it's great.
I showed a couple people. The first people I showed it to were like, "Wow, it even looks like you." So I was like,
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not, but
I think it was in a good way, because I think it's like you can see the inspiration for it. Yeah. It's not just a random.
Yeah. It's inspired by. Yeah, it's not a.
And you guys know how I can be. I'm kind of gentle and aggressive all at the same time. But it's awesome.
We'll take your word for that one.
Yeah, for absolutely. C Squared, kind words, my friend. Teachers Lounge is the best comic talk show, period. Well,
yeah, definitely.
Hey,
Comics on the Mind.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine, and we had talked for a long time about doing something together, and it came together, and it's been really good, and it might be my favorite hour of or 2 hours or whatever we do on a given night. On YouTube, just because I love talking to everybody and everything. And I love hanging out with Comics on the Mind, aka Mind Shift, for a couple hours every week. We've known each other for a couple of years, and then it's just, he's a really cool guy, and I really highly recommend everybody sub his channel up if you're not subbed to him. Yeah, man, I think the feeling's mutual. We just from the first time we talked a couple of years ago, we clicked a lot, like you and I, Shelby, where I think we clicked. There's sometimes you click with people, and so it's all good.
So congratulations, C Squared. You said you got your first CGC back. Is a 9.8.
Nice.
What was it? You said it's a SIG. Bagley Venom 26 1 in 50 variant, signed by Bagley, right? Cool. Papa, did you answer this one? Popeye said he's coming to Vegas. Are there any good comic shops? I know Torpedo, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody knows
Velvet Underground was one that I visited years ago. I really loved.
I hit Velvet pretty much every week. Torpedo is always great to visit. It's an amazing store, just in terms of what's in there and what you can see there. But they're big boy books and they're big boy prices. And what else can I say?
Yeah.
I
find for the rock band, you can go big, right?
Yeah, and they're always nice to me. I've never had a bad experience there. I do go. I hit the signings, and this is a little inside joke. I always hit the signings. So before COVID, I was there once a month. And I signed up for the Gold VIP, which is their top tier, and I got to go to one lunch, and I got to sit next to Ryan Otley for a couple hours and eat lunch, and he was really cool to talk to. Dan Slott was there, but I didn't unfortunately get the chance to talk to him too much. But I did get a picture with both of them, man. I believe it's on Instagram. See.
High AA Comics, Papa Willie, Amy, Telekinetic.
Let me take a minute and catch up with the chat. What's up, Captain Comics? Always good to see you in the chat. We've been seeing a lot of each other. I've seen you pop on a couple times on Teachers Lounge. I know you're buddies with Mindshift, so it's great to see you. Thanks for coming to my channel and hanging out. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a little inside joke. What's up, AA Comics? Good to see you pop into the chat, my friend. Always good to hear from you.
But Torpedo, if y'all don't know, does broadcast on IG sometimes. I've done a lot of their sales.
Yeah, they do a lot.
I've actually sale on IG. Of course, I guess they still do their mystery boxes, which people have been kind of down on the last couple. But
yeah, I think I saw a couple of AA Comics do a couple unboxings where he didn't feel I don't think he felt the value was really there, and from what I saw, I'd have to agree with him.
Yeah. No, I used to order their boxes.
That's
anymore.
I think that's the game with mystery boxes. You're going to either you're probably not going to get what you pay for. You're going to get more than you pay for, or you're going to get less than you pay for. And that's just the roll of the dice. Some boxes obviously are better than others. I think with I would say, like, if you get a box of variants from Torpedo, of like their store variants, you're probably going to do better overall than if you get 5 or 10 random back issues. Just the nature of the market these days. Comic book Poser will have an issue with C Square. I have fun with Poser. You guys all know that. Yeah, definitely, Amy. It's I think the back and forth. I think we're channeling like old school wrestling. But I'm glad I'm not the heel. Maybe I am, and I don't know it. I don't know. It's all a question of perspective. All the greatest villains think they're the heroes. That's what I think. That's one of the
great villains, right? Is because they see what they're doing is heroic in a way.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think the greatest heroes are the ones that really see themselves as the ones that are righteous.
Yeah.
And when you really when you have a good argument, that's what makes a really good story. That challenge of, who is right and is either really right, because there's a lot of ways you can argue, like the Batman and Joker. Obviously some things are crossing the line, but
I think like Thanos, in the Avengers movie was a great example of, you could not see him, I don't think, as a villain, right? He saw himself as helping the universe by getting rid of, half the people, so then the rest could prosper. And in a way, it's like, okay, you want the universe to prosper, to be, um, you know, um, and enjoy that prosperity, but your method of going about it, is kind of wrong, or is wrong. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes there's a gap, I think, between the motivation and the execution.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Where if and it's the old adage, if we use their tactics, are we no better than they are? I think I learned that one on the Super Friends. In about 78.
I learned about life. I learned from the Super Friends.
In about
grandmother.
Around 78. Pretty early on. So I picked up this. This is a pretty cool 5-issue. Oh, we got some tape issues there. Well, thank goodness for plastic. Ugh. I hate stickers that come off. Stick them or not, but
So all right, while he's getting that straight, I think I saw a compliment earlier. Yeah, Digital Senpai. I'm having a pretty good night, and yeah, I saw this Spider-Gwen shirt and I loved it. I like gray. I think it makes me look slimmer. I'm not sure if that's true or not, or just in my mind.
I know it definitely makes me look slimmer. Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Yeah, and I gotta get over to Fold's channel sometime and watch some of that. I get the pop-ups on my IG on my phone, and I got them today, but I was in the middle of something else. I couldn't jump over there to see what was going on.
Yeah, so Amy, I know we had this up before, but yeah, Amy loves the back and forth with Feld on the panel. He's a good kid. I think he's got a little bit to learn. He's young. We're teaching him. But yeah, it's lots of good fun. We talk outside the auction, so don't ever think there's anything truly bad going on between us. We're buddies. Telekinetic Age, good to see you, my friend. It's going good. It's going really good. I love the show, but I never get to watch. I watch a few in the reruns. I've seen on the rewinds. I've seen I watched one episode where he was with his little boy and they were opening boxes with pops, and they had a little challenge. Who got the more valuable pop? They didn't know what they were opening. Poser won, but I don't know if he didn't stack the deck a little. No,
yeah, I got your payment today, Papa Willie. I'll be honest, my back was killing me because I sat in this uncomfortable chair for 4 hours last night for the first time, and I was not moving from the couch very much. So I will get, unless you want to make a box, I'm happy to do that, but I'll get everything mailed up. Probably start printing out labels tonight and stuff.
I definitely recommend, folks, if you're gonna buy comics at an auction, I mean, unless money's not an object for you, I recommend going the box route, or at least if you're gonna go, if you're just gonna just at least get 10 comics, because shipping $9 shipping divided by 10 is a lot more economical than $9 or $8, whatever it is, shipping by 1 or 2 comics.
Yeah,
to the point where you're spending a lot of money per comic, and then the couple of bucks is less of an issue.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I talked to Todd and joining his preview show is I want to show you guys, Todd and I both, what we maybe have planned, but also what do y'all want to see? Because trust me, we're not making a bunch of money or anything. Basically, we're just feeding our own hobby. But yeah, let us know what you want to see, so that way we can cater to you a bit more and help you fill that box up. I love getting that fat box.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said it before. I guess it bears repeating. I've made it pretty clear, like, I'm doing this for, I have a good job, a good career, and I make a good living. this is all done because I'm purely out of love. This is a labor of love, and the fact, and this is like the fact that I just pop up with no like planning, 15 minutes, and then I'm 5 minutes late, and then I have 14 people in the chat. I mean, that's a testament to the community and the friendships and the relationships I've built, and it's, one thing that I got to give Comics on the Mind credit for this, and he's kind of told me this, and I said, yeah, that's really true. These we all love the comics, and we all love the story, whether it's the stories we love or it's the art we love. And what it is it's a stepping stone. It's a starting point, because what it is, I think, is we find that, at least for me, growing up loving this stuff, I kind of grew up in a bubble. Like I didn't have a ton of friends who were into comic books the way I was. I always had like one or two collector buddies at different times that, I was friends with, but never like a whole group. Never like, like what we have now. What this like technology of YouTube and Instagram has really brought forth. And it's really just, it's really awesome. I mean, I just, I there's at least a couple people in the chat right now that, I've text with daily or semi-daily,
Yeah.
whether it's...
Good night, Amy. Amy's got to leave, so just saying good night.
Okay, Amy, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Let me catch up on the chat a little while I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
We got Mindshift saying what's up to double A Comics. Double A, we're all saying hello. Torpedoes like going to a museum. Yeah, that's I wouldn't say nobody can afford it, but I can barely make a scratch there.
Yeah. If I'm shopping with Torpedo online, I make sure I have a minimum of $200 to $300, and even then I might only get 3 or 4 books. So,
yeah, and I could tell you, like, I'll peruse the new wall, and if there's a new book I need, I have no problem buying it there. But I'm just, I mean, I'll buy a big issue once in a while, but I'm not like buying those books like all the time. But I'll tell you, I had a buddy of mine come into town last weekend. He's a really good buddy. He's got an amazing story. His name's Rohan Murphy. He actually lost his legs when he was young and freaking wrestled for Penn State. So he's a pretty amazing dude. I met him when he spoke at my school. And he's got an amazing story. But we hung out. We went to Torpedo, and we went to this other store called Brad's Toys. That is probably, if you're a toy collector and you're in the toys, if you're ever out in Vegas, it's a store worth checking out, because it is just chock full, floor to ceiling, of all kinds of toys.
Is that the place? Whenever I was there, the guy that used to be on Pawn Stars had just moved over to Fremont.
Yeah, no, that's a different store. There's a toy store, and there's like a card and comic store in Fremont, and there's like a nerd bar upstairs, and then so Brad's is like out in like almost Boulder City. It's kind of out on the outskirts. And I think he has another store in a mall here. I'm not 100% if that's his store or not. Thanks, Comics on the Mind. Definitely smash the like button. We appreciate it. Okay, we think you addressed that. So what's up, Cyborg Dad Mystery? I don't know if I said hello to you. Having a great night, Digital Senpai.
If y'all wondering what I keep looking at, there's
your cat
on top of the comic boxes. He loves getting up there. And of course, you can see all the Burger King 1980s posters and stuff on the wall. Oh, he's tearing up my ABC labels from last night.
Let's see. It says the first couple of variants, I felt you broke even. After that, next couple, I felt you got less. I like to try stuff, so it's all good. Yeah, I hear you. It's fun. I mean, there's an entertainment value in the mystery box that is not quantifiable in the books. I mean, there's an excitement. There's a, you know, there's something there. Yeah, I see how behind we are. He's agreeing with us on
Oh
the
yeah,
villain.
yeah,
Honestly,
get caught up.
a conversation about villain motivation could be a whole show in and of itself. I'd feel bad. Amy left, and I was just getting ready to show some vampies. Todd, let's see. C Squared says you're an interesting character. You're the heel, but you're also the people's champion. Okay.
People's champion.
That's I'll take it. I'll take it. I guess I'm the heel. Is that are you saying Foiled is a good guy? Huh. I don't know about that. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold Todd said so.
So I'm looking way ahead.
Let's see.
Going. Sub up. I know he's trying to build his channel.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing some toy stuff on my channel. Pretty soon.
I got some toys to sell too, so maybe we can do something together.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Popeye 310. Any good comic shops in Vegas? Yes, definitely. If you want to hit me up, I would be more than happy to go hunting. And I teach school Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Maybe we can schedule something. If you got a day or a couple hours you want to dedicate, you let me know. You know how to reach out to me, my friend. Hit me up on the IG, and we can figure out if you want to do something. But there's a ton of good shops. There's no shortage of shops in Vegas, and it really depends on what you are looking for. I'd say if you want just to visit the Mecca, where you can see a Hulk 1 and a 9/8 Werewolf by Night 32 and a 9/8 Tomb of Dracula 10, you got to go to Torpedo, because that's the only place you're going to see that. But if you want to dig through books, you want to dig through boxes and boxes and boxes, you might want to go to Velvet Underground. If you want to see a lot of new issues, Maximum might be the place, or Stunt Dog Comics. It really just depends. Okay. I'm looking for more affordable service.
For me, and I'm not sure how I'm going to work then on Meta's channel, and nothing against Meta, but I'm really picky about the books I purchase.
Right.
So most everything I own is high grade, meaning 8.0 and above. And I almost brought some Silver Age from the warehouse, but again, now you're getting into $40, $50, $60 books,
Yeah, and you know what? It's gonna. I'll be honest. I think it's gonna take a little while. You got to kind of earn your stripes, sort of, in the sense that you got to build those relationships with the buyers. And there's certain buyers that are buying those bigger books. I mean, everybody. My whole philosophy about collecting is that, I'm no better than anybody. I don't know any better. I don't collect any better. I've been doing it a certain amount of time, and I think I have a certain level of maturity in or growth, or I'm along a continuum maybe. But it's not better or higher or lower than anyone. It's just what fits my collecting. And as you collect, you learn things, and your collecting wisdom grows. So, we're all at the bottom. At the end of the day, we're all just collectors.
Yeah. So, I felt I did okay last night in the auction. I know I put up some things, like some of the rare horror books. But I started the price out. So what I did is I went to eBay, looked and saw what the sale prices were, and I started the auction prices out at half of that, which I think is more than fair, even though half of that in some cases was $50, $60.
Yeah, and I hear you. And that stuff is very niche. It's very specific to a specific kind of collector. And we can talk more about, auction strategies and whatnot.
I'd like to, I think there's a certain group that come to Metas compared to others and such. So.
Sure. I want to say hi to Bob's World. I saw you just subscribed to me the other day. Thank you so much, Bob's World. new subscriber. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming through and saying hello in the chat. Got my Padawan Nut Punch Comics here. What's up, Nick? Hope you're doing okay this fine evening. Always good to see you and talk to you. He's my Padawan. I'm teaching him the ways of collecting. I taught him. He was one of my students about 10 years ago.
Oh,
in Florida. So I knew him as a middle schooler, and then we reconnected when he found me on the YouTube and the Instagram and decided he wanted to start collecting comic books.
Yeah, Captain Comics, you missed it last night. I doubt I'm going to be selling many more of my Mark Jewelers. I put up a Mark Jeweler last night, Spider-Man in BF, and it went for $10. And that was literally giving it away. That was a $40, $50 book. Any Mark Jeweler, except in rough shape, is going to be that. So I have to. I'm not. Hey, Barbarian Kung Fu got it. I've bought from him before, and I'm happy he got the deal. But that was, yeah. I've got to be more careful with that because while I want y'all to get good deals, I can't be giving things away at one fourth for it.
It's going to be a kind of a learning process, and we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, but Captain, you're welcome to join my IG. It's SG Thompson Jr. Todd will put it up in a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And message me because I do have a 30-cent variant, and Mark Jewelers is something I started collecting about 10 years ago, and I have a short box full of them. So probably one of the largest collections of that that I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. I think part of it is as you build more relationships with collectors, you're gonna get more buyers who are buying from you, okay, and you're gonna start to know what they collect.
Yeah.
So it's gonna grow. Trust me. I started, from learning the ropes by throwing books up, and there were times I was scratching my head, like, how does nobody want this? Why can't I sell anything? Why am I just blanking out round after round?
Yeah. So this is what I sold last night. I mean, it's a beautiful 8.0 copy. It's an 80s book, but it has right next to actually Mile High, and their popular yellow sales.
I want to say hello to GPAP. How you doing, GPAP? I love the scroll Power Man icon. That's awesome. Sorry, Shelby. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And so, yeah. So if people ever wonder why it's called Mark Jewelers, you can see right there that it was an insert. It was for mainly military bases in the U.S. and overseas. So the military people could, buy something for their, new girlfriends and stuff.
Sure.
And here's an example here. You can actually see all the military rings. It says Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. So they cater to that military person. And no one really knows exactly how many, but, you got to imagine it's probably 1% of the whole print run. So they tend to be pretty rare and sought after. I do not send in my Mark Jewelers to get graded and CGC'd because, I think part of the appeal of Mark Jewelers is to be able to actually open up the book and see the insert, right? I will send in my 30 and 35-cent variants to get graded, but Mark Jewelers I'll always have ungraded.
Well, those 30, 35-cent variants are some cool books.
Some of them are very cool books, yeah.
I think I have one. I might have like one Tomb of Dracula.
Oh, that's cool.
But I don't have a lot of those.
Yeah, I probably have around maybe 50 or 60 Mark Jewelers and maybe about 30 or 40 30-cent variants. 35-cent variants are the more rare ones.
Okay.
And I think I have 2 of those. But again, you know, I started recollecting in the early 2000s. So I was buying a lot of stuff cheap. So I don't mind, you know, starting a lot of my sales out at like half price because, you know, I know
I'm more focused on, you know, what do I have into something, honestly. If I can give some people a deal, I'll give them a deal, unless I'm sure what it's supposedly going for. What's up, LBD Prophecy? Good to see you in the chat. I'm just going to try and get caught up here. Marshall Lewis, you have a good night. No worries, no worries. Got everybody saying hello. Yeah, a lot of people like to collect those Mark Jewelers. That's definitely Emmy. Your collection's all over the place right now. Yeah, I suffer.
Hey, Emmy.
I suffer from that too, Emmy Comics. I'm I wish I was more focused, but I don't. No way. Let's see. I sort of early just figure out what I'm going to focus on. Yeah, I mean you know, if you just started earlier this year and you're figuring out what to focus on, good for you. I'm on 30, almost 40 years of collecting, and I still love too much stuff. Oh, I'll definitely check out your video, Captain Comics.
Yeah, definitely.
Check you out, my friend.
Yeah, I'll actually make a note of it.
Yeah, Kung Fu, he's a good buddy of mine. Kung Fu is a good buddy. I've done many an auction with him, and you know, definitely a good buddy. Nice AA Comics.
If you want to, Captain, do your link in the chat so people can just
definitely
and subscribe to you.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody sub each other up. If you're not subbed to me, if you're not subbed to Shelby, if you're not subbed to anybody in the chat, definitely you know, definitely it's always good to make new collector friends. You never know what somebody might have. You know, I know AA and I have talked. You know, I have some key books that I have 2 of, and he has some key books that he's maybe got 2 of or looking to let go of. So, you know, things happen. Diamond Jeweler inserts were only 71 to 73. Then Mark Jewelers took over Diamond Jewelers. Way harder to find. That's interesting.
I've never seen a Diamond Jewelers insert.
That's such a small window, 71 to 73.
Yeah.
You want to track down the Alka-Seltzer ad. It's basically a double cover, only published in October of 1972 as MJ ad. Also very rare. And the Menon ad. Wow, that's
crazy rare. Yeah, that's crazy specific. And I do collect double, triple, quad covers. I have probably about 10 double covers. I also have some errors where like they literally put the book in twice.
Right. Okay.
I have a ROM like that.
Wow.
I have some early 1950s double covers and stuff.
They're basically printing errors, but it's interesting that they kind of slid through.
Yeah.
And got out there. Digital Senpai asked, do you guys enjoy collecting anything outside of the comic realm to grow any other collections you might have? Actually, yeah, I do paperbacks like sci-fi, fantasy, and just general books I want to read. I mean, it doesn't have to be sci-fi or fantasy. That's probably the majority of them. But I love like James Bond, Ian Fleming books. I have a ton of those. I have Edgar Rice Burroughs, Harlan Ellison, Philip K. Dick, Dashiell Hammett, Robert E. Howard, just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, check out some of Todd's paperback collecting videos. I used to collect paperbacks. I was big into the Star Trek paperbacks, and I got rid of my collection a couple of years ago. And I'm very specific. I do collect toys, but I'm very specific on collecting 1960s, 70s, and early 80s superhero toys. And usually the more odd, the better. And I'll show you an example is this whole telephone.
Nice.
So,
call friend.
And I'll push the button for you.
When you get Hulk, Hulk will smash you. You cannot escape Hulk.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's got the number stuff. So I'm very specific, and I've got a lot of things like this. I also pick up like any 1970s Hot Wheel superhero cars. Marvel did a few vans where you could look through the back of them. You could see
I remember those from when I was a kid.
Sure. You can see a picture of those. So some of those are really cool. Slurpee cups. I have the full collection of both sets of Marvel Slurpee cups.
Nice. Those are cool.
Yeah.
I have some of the,
and they're not expensive. They are not expensive to collect, right? Some of the Hot Wheels can be. Board games. I bought every single Marvel board game up from the 70s up to the 80s. They're not expensive either. You can find a full complete like Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, anything like that for about $10, $15, and they got great graphics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because those, you know what it is? I think those, when you're getting into the vintage games or the games that are like 20, 30 years old, probably 30 with the 80s, it's just, it's the images come from a different generation.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting the 80s wasn't 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's it's as simple as like when you say the Avengers to me,
what do you think of? I think of the Beast, Captain America.
It's somewhere between the original
is the George Perez
original George Perez run, but I also read it when Buscema was doing the book later.
Yeah.
When it was like a 60-cent cover price.
Yeah.
So that 50, 60-cent cover price is, but I also I got into the Silver Age when I was in like middle school.
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm gonna get caught up with the chat.
You're almost there.
Okay, wait. Papa Wheelie, get into Funko Pops. Yes, listen here. I have I think 3 or 4 of them. I'm not gonna get obsessive because I'm fairly obsessive about comics, and it's hard for me to divert any effort or funds from comics, other than like books that I love to read. So if I see a pop that I really, really, really love, I will buy it. I'm not anti-pop at all. Yeah, I have a Batman pop, and I have 2 Pickle Rick pops, and that is all that I have.
Yeah,
I might have a Robin pop.
Yeah, I have 2 tubs full of pops, and I'm probably looking to get rid of those. Hey, Double A, I love your channel. Will you? I think we're friends on IG. If not, hit me up. I'd love to visit with you some more too. You should be the new Wink Ink dude since Wink Ink is gone. Y'all both kind of have that, and stuff.
I don't get that formal, but I show my love. Lisa, good to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for coming by, Lisa.
Yeah.
Always great to see and hear from you. Glenn Smith, Funko's got you back into collecting comics. That's awesome. Hey, I think I love toys. I really do. And for a long time, I play. Obviously, in my childhood, I played with them. And later I collected them. I mean, I still have probably in my warehouse, in my storage. I think I have like a long box full of Batman animated figures still carded, and I probably have a tub of like loose, there's a picture I think on my Instagram. If you go way back, of my buddy taking them, one day and just setting them all up on the kitchen counter, and just like the Max and Gene Simmons and Thor and Beta Ray Bill and a million other characters. And
that'd be a fight. Thor against Gene Simmons.
Yeah. Think about that graphic. Gene's breathing fire and Thor's holding up the hammer. I mean, when I lived in Florida, really the big thing. One of the other things I really collected was pinball machines. I had 6 of them, but I sold those before I moved from Florida, just because it just didn't seem like practical to bring those across the country. I did have a Kiss one.
Hold on, I'll show you a few things. I actually picked this up in Las Vegas. I'll be right back. And I'm standing up because I'm wearing shorts for a change and not just
nice. I'll go big just so we're not looking at the wall. But now I'll catch up with the chat for sure. Lisa says hello to Shelby. Awesome. Papa Wheelie. Okay, you guys are talking. Just want to make sure. Sold my Funkos to get back into comics too. That's hilarious. Dude, my buddy's a big Funko dealer, collector. I didn't realize how much some of those go for. Pretty intense prices. Wow. Someone said him a pop. He can't. I said I got a couple pops. I got my Batman. I got my Pickle Rick. You know, I don't know if I see it and I gotta have it. I've seen some cool ones, but like the thing with toys is, I don't know. And for some reason, I can rationalize this with comics. I'm gonna get it, look at it, and put it in a box. I'm not gonna play with it. I'm just not. You know, I play with like my science experiments and stuff like that, and that like kind of fulfills that need of play for me. So, but I will tell you this: when it comes to Funko, I was on the Funko train before Pops ever existed. I remember when they put their first Wacky Wobbler in the previews. I think it was Bob's Big Boy, and I was like, I'm not really into Bob's Big Boy. I'm not going to get it. But then the next one, or one of the later ones, was the Pink Panther. And I got that one, and I still have it. The Pink Panther Wacky Wobbler, because I love Pink Panther. So I have that from Funko. And I think I watched the Funko a documentary on them. Great, amazing company, what they've done. Brilliant. Should have hit me up. Oh, well. Okay, we're saying hello. Oh, more. The chat is popping.
All right, I had to get some more water too.
No, he'll be back. He just went to get here. He's back. Boom. So it was an argument with my 12-year-old daughter about how much better X-Men was than Avengers, so went to the comic store the next day. Well, look, the Avengers is what the kids know. That's what's been presented to them. You know, when a kid's 12 years old, they weren't alive when the X-Men came out. So they have no frame of reference for the X-Men. You know, they've been essentially absent, you know, of any notice. Comics are I love Pops too. I agree, Lisa. I think the Pops are really cool. I mean, I enjoyed going to the toy store and looking at all the Pops. And I mean, the thing that really did catch my eye was the Shogun Warrior Godzilla, because I had one as a kid. And I was like, man, that is cool. It had like the hand was hanging off, and those Shogun Warriors were awesome.
Yeah. So here's a couple of things. And this is a fun little set to collect. There's about 6 or 7 of them. Here's Iron Man. Here's Thor. These are Mark's toys from the 60s. You can find them in all different colors because Mark's just used whatever color plastic was available.
Okay, so you might get Thor in blue or Iron Man.
Yeah, you can find it in red, yellow, blue, and green. I think were the 4 colors.
I wonder if you could print those with a 3D printer nowadays.
Oh, yeah, you probably scan these in, but they're really nice high detail. They're hard to find without the fingers broken off. Clean copies are going to be about $30 each. But it's a fun little set. You know, part of the collecting, I think, is the journey. And, you know, really hunting these out and finding them is a lot of the fun part to me. Something I got from actually in Las Vegas from 1970, Spider-Man Halloween bucket. And
that's like a whole bus. That's more than just a head. That's the biggest Halloween bucket I've ever seen.
I agree. You could probably fit a few Three Musketeer bars in it. But this is from, I can't even tell. It's 1979 Ren's company. This is a very clean copy. So it cost me about $100. But, you know, it's just fun.
Cool. I've never seen that before. You know, and I've been to a lot of shows and seen a lot of the dealers, and
this is cool. So this is from the 70s from Whitman, Superhero Dominoes, and this was only $10, but it's the full set. It came with the instructions.
Nice.
But
what's cool about those is just the graphics. Like that's probably all Jose Luis Garcia.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and he's like, when I think of DC, that's what I think of. You know, it's like that's the iconic DC designs. What's up, William Smallwood? Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. Okay, so it's your chat. 50 minutes into the stream.
There's a cool Batgirl and Wonder Woman. You know,
definitely.
Cool. It's just cool little things to collect. Robin and Aquaman. So, and cheap too. Like I said, this with the instructions, which is hard to find with the instructions, $10.
So,
I mean, and it's really cool.
Let's get into showing some books. We've been on 50 minutes already. So, unfortunately, I did send Amy pics. So, I got, this looks like a great series. Dawn Vampirella 1 through 5. All written and illustrated by Joseph Michael Linsner. So, what's up, G-Rip? Good to see you, my friend. Okay.
You can go ahead and make yourself full screen if you want.
Yeah, let's just makes it life a little easier. So we got issue 1, 2. These are all Linsner covers. Beautiful. He just does the female form so beautifully. Dawn's such a cool character. It's cool to see her cross over with Vampirella. And number 5. So we got the 5th issue there. Uh-oh. Not really but
okay, I'm back.
The ever needing to be replaced tape. I'm old school. I use Scotch tape, and
so here's something
hard.
Put up sometime this week. So this is, I think, this isn't the first set of Lock and Key. This is the second story, I believe. Keys to the Kingdom, and it's what the new season is going to be based on. But and one thing you'll find about me is I like to sell complete sets of stuff. I hate it. No offense to anybody. Like, oh, here's issue 1, 3, and 4, right? So this is the full set of all the issues. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Very cool. I watched the Lock and Key.
And also
I watched the show, and then I ordered
Book Day comic. So this goes for about $50 for the set on eBay. I'll start these out later, in the auctions around $20-$25. So
it's reasonable.
Yeah.
So I picked up the new Thor. Got a bunch of these. Thor 7. Somehow I got these. I didn't get my 1 in 25s, but we're working on that. Don't have to say much about Thor. Thor's been pretty great.
So since was it Disney or actually Marvel that just purchased back the rights or purchased the rights to Predator and Aliens? So full set of Aliens Defiance. All these books are going up in price, especially the very first Alien series from Dark Horse.
Yeah, that one's
awesome.
awesome.
Takes place right after the second movie. So it has Hicks and Newt. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but I remember reading it. Unbeknownst that the third movie would,
Papa Wheelie says the Pink Panther Wacky Wobbler is valued at $33 right now. Yeah, but I opened up and I did this a lot with the head, so I don't know if it's still in the condition or shape to be valued at $33.
Yeah. I love these painted covers of these later books. So number 1, 2, 3. That's cool, isn't it?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I remember. I love. There was a series I sold it not too long ago. It went pretty good. It was Aliens Labyrinth. It was the art was by Killian Plunkett.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading it when it came out, and I loved the art. And then I just see a lot of times I'll buy either take one. What you want a Thor Popeye? If you want a Thor Popeye, it's cover price $4. You got it. I'll put it aside. Just confirm that you want Thor.
Yeah. And this is part of the Colonial Marines that they were doing.
Okay, yeah.
Aliens Berserker. Number 1, 2.
You got a Popeye.
Oops, where's it at? Number 3. And again, these cool covers. And number 4. So the full set. And you know, these were lower print runs and stuff, but that's such a cool cover. Colonial Marines, the aliens and stuff. So those are a few things that I pulled out that I'll be selling.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's always a run, a complete story arc. Yes, always better. Unfortunately, when I buy boxes or I buy collections, you don't always know what you get. And that's, when I can do 10 books for $10 and I'm charging $1 a book, and a lot of times that's what I get, it is what it is. So as a collector, I want it to be the full run, but like in the terms of just the logistics of the situation, I can't start holding books until I find the one to fit in there.
Yeah, well, all these are from my PC, right? And I'm trying to pull out things that I haven't seen in the auction before.
Sure.
And that they're just sitting in boxes in a warehouse, man. I want people to love and enjoy these and pass them on. So I apologize, Todd. Show that one again. That is a cool cover.
I got multiples of it, so I figured I'd get some tape. This is just the other cover to Thor 7, where there's a bunch of hands reaching for the hammer.
That is cool.
Pretty cool. You got, I think, Groot, Captain Marvel, Spidey. Is there another one in there that Iron Man, and then there's like one in the back. It's like a gold stripe. Is that maybe Panther? I'm not sure. Or
maybe.
I'm not sure who that is.
One thing that's aggravated me is I've seen this book sold quite a bit, but never a full set. So I pulled out my full set of Batman the Cult.
See, like that one, I've got a couple of, I want to say 3s and a 4, and I'm like, I'm not going to set those like that set. Maybe it's out of respect to Bernie Wrightson. I won't sell just the 3 or the 4 because it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't feel right. Right. This is written by Jim Starlin, the creator, of course, of the original Captain Marvel and Thanos and all that. And Bernie Wrightson art. I mean, how can you go wrong with Bernie Wrightson art?
You can't.
So full set of this, and I think I agree with Todd. It's the only way to sell this is as a full set, so you can get the whole experience.
Unless somebody says, "Hey, I need a Colt 3. Do you have the Colt Batman the Colt number 3?" And I have one. In which case, okay, I'm helping you complete your set. So, that's good. That's good comic book karma.
Yeah, right.
Let's see here. Okay, Popeye, I got you on both covers. No problem. So cover price on both of them. Totals $8 on the 2. Easy peasy.
So I'm not sure if The Walking Dead is still popular or not, but I've got a couple of odd things.
Well, they've got the deluxe editions coming out soon. The color version. The only number 1 I ordered was the Art Adams because I'm not. That's the 2 artists that I probably really collect, like still actively collect. Not the only 2, but like 2 of the ones that I will that are still doing new comics or do covers is Walter Simonson and Art Adams. I love Ragnarok. I love Walt Simonson Store Run. I love almost everything he's done. The Paul Kirk Manhunter storyline is one of my favorite storylines ever. I put it right up there. A lot of people like to say when it comes to what's your favorite, they say Dark Phoenix Saga, Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns. But I'll put that Paul Kirk Manhunter for episodic comic book storytelling. I will put that right up there with any of them.
I agree. And good night, Double A. If you're not already gone.
Yeah, good night, Double A. I know he was just check out. He's an East Coast guy.
So I thought about trying to get all of these covers. I only ended up getting 3 of them, but they're too cool. This is the Maggie cover.
Yeah. I've seen some of those at my show.
And the Negan cover. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and try for the set, so I'll probably be selling these. This cool watercolor. And they're all done by Bill Sienkiewicz. That's why I thought about collecting it, because I love Bill Sienkiewicz. Actually,
that's why I couldn't. He's one of the reasons I couldn't just say 2, because I'll pretty much buy anything.
Yeah,
I see by him.
Yeah, see, I met Bill Sienkiewicz back in '88 when he had hair way down here, a big ass beard, and he had just done Stray Toasters, and met him in a bar, and wanted to dance with a friend of mine's girlfriend that was with me and stuff.
Dance with him. Maybe he'll do a sketch for me. Right. I met him at MegaCon one year, but he was short-haired and clean-shaven. This was much later.
Yeah, Glenn, that Virgin is the Walking Dead 100 Virgin cover. I'm not sure if it came out the same time as number 100 or later, but it is, yes, a number 100 Virgin cover.
So as I'm going along, I got a couple copies of this Deceased second print.
Oh, that is too cool. That Peach Momoko, yeah.
Yeah, second print. So that's nice. It's an inexpensive Peach book, or at least I think it's inexpensive. I mean, I would sell it for cover price right now. This is one of my things I just read, because
I want to read that because
not because it's less to do with Liefeld, more to do with Snake Eyes.
Yeah. Liefeld's apparently a very huge G.I. Joe Snake Eyes fan. If you didn't see his interview on Cartoonist Kayfabe, where he talks about him doing that story and how excited he was,
that's cool.
Yeah, you can go watch it.
That's cool. Immortal Hulk Zero. I got a couple of these.
Oh, cool. I may want one of those, Todd.
Okay, you let me know.
So last night, I didn't want to step on Todd, but I picked these up pretty cheap a couple of months ago, and I thought about getting the run, but I think I'm going to kind of give up. Adam Hughes covered Catwoman's.
Well, we may be able to do a trade if you have any of the ones I don't have.
These are the ones I have. It's only about.
I have that one. I love that one. That's like a Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah. But I was able to pick these up kind of reasonable a couple of months back, thinking I might do the run, but probably not. There is 6-7 issues, and these Adam Hughes art. They go for about $10, and I'll probably do like a build a lot or something on the auction.
Cool. I found
this too, the embossed Catwoman 1.
That one.
Not in perfect shape, but
Jim Ballant.
Yeah, and Dick Giorgiano doing.
Hey, I'm gonna put you full if you can hold it down for a second. I gotta grab a bottle of water.
Okay.
I got a little tickle.
Got a tickle. Todd got a tickle in his pickle. So here's some things too. I'm I don't see these around too often, and oops, it's wrong stack. And I've looked on eBay, and I've got a pretty good stack. Is the 2017 Dark Knights Metal, where all this started. So this is the #1 Jim Lee variant. The #1 John Romita Jr. variant. The #2 Andy Kubert variant. The John Romita variant. Let's see, I can see those numbers. I am missing like 3, I think. Andy Kubert variant. This has the full cover.
Okay. I got you.
Both variant. This is the Tony David variant. This is the Capullo. Kubert. Kirkham variant. That's a cool cover. Jim Lee variant. And this is the full Joker, probably my favorite covers for that. And that's Capullo.
Nice.
Full cover, Batman Lost. Full cover, Batman Casting. And then the full cover, Batman, the Merciless. So I don't see these very often. And then the sketch cover, Jim Lee, I believe. So I don't see these very often. I looked on eBay and I don't see them very often either. But, you know, the metal, you know, death metal is crazy popular right now. These, I think, are at economical prices. When you do find them, they're only like $10. And so, yeah, I'll be putting these up later in the week too.
Popeye, I don't see you down for anything from last night on my written list, but if you grab books, just remind me what you grabbed, and I might have just forgot to write it down, which, you know, I'm a human being, I do, but I have the pile of books right here with the Post-its that I do, so redundancy is a good thing. But I definitely got these 2 for you.
I have a few odd DCs I'll be putting up. Here's a Firestorm, which is the first appearance of Killer
Frost. Yep.
So, and this thing it's not in high grade. It's probably a 6 or a 7. You know, so it'd be pretty affordable. It's like a $10, $15 book.
Cool.
Papa Willie.
With the peach cover. It was a 4th print. It's Catwoman's, well, they can be yours tomorrow. Unless, make him an offer, man. Maybe he'll let you have him tonight. That's between you and Shelby.
What's that? Oh.
Payment sent for tonight's and last night's book.
Here's something I found in the warehouse. I'm not sure if I showed this last night.
Popeye, just do me a favor, Popeye. Hit me up on Instagram with what the book was. I have plenty of whatever the Thors were, whichever Thors. I'll double check and I'll make sure when I'm off, or when I have a second.
So Ashley versus Predator #1 GameStop exclusive. And again, Marvel bought all that stuff. So, and these I did show last night. Some of these will probably be Friday. I'll go ahead and tell you. This one will be Friday. This is the Campbell Vampirilla #1 negative variant. Very low print run. I think it's only like 3,000 to 5,000 copies. It don't go for that much, $80 to $100 when you find it on eBay. Full run, all 4 issues of The Last of Us. Mint. I bought these PCs. I love the game and stuff. He says he can't remember if it was Venom or Thor.
I got it right here, Popeye. Thor. You got the Thor 6s, and now you got the Thor 7s to go with it.
So first Riri Williams, Invincible Iron Man.
Yes.
Number 7. And then this is one of the crazy rare things. Topps Comics, which wasn't around that long. Jason versus Leatherface. When you find these on eBay, they're about $40 a comic, and it's Simon Beasley covers. Really amazing looking art. Number 2 is my favorite. So Leatherface having family dinner and such. Of course, mature readers. And then the Face Off, number 3. But y'all tell me, I've got a lot of X-Men. If none of this is tickling your pickle, then I'm surrounded by 23 short boxes right now. So
I got I usually just get ones on the Catwoman. So I got the A and the B.
Oh, those are cool. Oh, I like that red one.
Yeah, who did this? I'm not even sure. But yeah, the red covers always are something, something special. Going back to the old X-Men all red covers, and a lot of times I like the A covers too. They just kind of more old school. This is more of
like an old school art.
Look, and the covers I really love are like the 70s battle covers from Marvel, like where like Defenders 10. I think Thor's fighting. Who's Thor fighting on that? I can't. Thor, maybe Defenders. Thor and the Hulk, maybe. Or like anytime there's two, like Amazing 119, 120, Spidey Hulk cover. Then there's the one a few issues later where Spidey's fighting Power Man. There's Batman 99. I got a couple of these.
That's nice.
So I do Batman. And then I got the B cover too with what's this guy's name? This clown guy, I forget. Clown Killer or something.
But that Catwoman kind of looked like the Batman Returns.
Lieber Thanks, Lisa. I met him. He was at a shop down here. Lieber Miho. I got him to sign my Joker hardcover. I got it right over here somewhere, I think.
Oh, the artist?
Yeah, I got Joker, and I got my Batman Damned hardcover. And he signed it right there. It would have been nice if he would have done a little drawing or something, but what are you going to do? Maybe at some point in the future.
Yeah. So, one of these days I'll kind of pull some things out, and I've got a ton of signed books. Like, oh, that's cool.
Alex Ross,
Alex Ross one. So this is like a Hawkeye #1 triple signed by Joe Quesada, Perez.
There's a whole code to how he makes the Q, depending on what point in his career it was. He does one thing when he was editor in chief, and something else when he's I'd have to look it up, but.
And I've met George Perez. I couldn't tell you how many times.
I mean, he lives in Florida, so he was I've seen him at shows since I was probably 13 or 14 years old. Yeah. I think I have the majority of my Teen Titans run signed by him.
Yeah, so I've got a ton of George Perez signed stuff.
I've got 2 Spawn #1s where he signed the pinup that he did.
This is one of my favorite, kind of a red cover.
That's an awesome. I have that whole run. Yeah.
This is actually signed by George Perez and Marv Wolfman. I met them at a con. So this was the, kind of like after school special.
Yeah, from Keebler.
Where the kid overdosed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is the War Against Drugs campaign cover that was done by Nancy Reagan. This is signed by George Perez. Amazing Heroes, Wonder Woman. I've got a lot of.
I think I ordered 3 covers and I ended up getting 2. I guess a lot of them that my guy got were damaged. But here's the J. Scott Campbell Detective 1027 or 1027. So you got Batman and Catwoman. And this is just, I thought this cover was pretty awesome. This is, I don't know, new and old. So you got the Golden Age, Batman and Robin, and then you've got the modern.
Oh, the modern age. That's cool.
I mean, I wish
the 1027s I want. I noticed
I wish there was more.
a lot of them last night he was showing off. I need to go to his website and just kind of look. Bunch of Chris Claremont signed stuff. Some Peter
X-Collect loves that the Claremont stuff, the signatures.
And of course, John Byrne I've met several times. This is an odd one where he signed John and Byrne.
Venom 1 in 100.
That's cool.
Took about a month and a half.
Now next month I'll end up having some of those. Is it Tyler that did like the blue Venom cover with the Venom?
What's his name? Tyler
Kirkham.
Yes.
Now he's doing a different one for each issue. Like 25, number 25 was Virus, number 26 was Venom, number 27 was Null, and then 28 is something else. And I'll be getting a few of those sets in. They will be the trade dress sets. I'm not sure. I think I can probably sell them as cheap as like $80, which is going to be really cheap. When I get those in, it'll be after the number 28, I think, is when I get those sets.
Glenn, if you want the Storm, this is it's $5. When I do my preview, on the new books, I do them cover price. I mean, unless it's like the 1 in 100, obviously. Yeah, pretty much cover price on the new stuff. I figure it's fair because it hasn't been Wednesday yet, so we don't really know if anything's sold out or hard to get or whatever. And I'm not gonna pre-hoard stuff, so I buy the books to flip. So I'm not trying to, if I could flip them all for cover price, I would. I'm not in the I just don't. I'd rather buy it, sell it. I mean, if flipping's a bad word, I don't know. But I'd rather buy it, sell it, buy some more books, sell some more books, buy some more books, sell some more books. Because honestly, you can hold hundreds of dollars worth of books. And if 5% of them go up in value, whatever you make is eaten up by all those other books you're sitting on. If you're doing it for that reason. But if I buy them and I sell everything and I buy more and I sell everything, I'm going to keep increasing. I may do it 80 cents, $1 at a time. I don't make a lot on these books, but whatever I make, it's all compiled together and it supports my comic collecting and, makes me happy to do it, honestly.
Yeah. And that's all I'm kind of doing too. Is like I said, a lot of my older stuff has been sitting in a warehouse and I'm just happy to pass it along to where I can reinvest into some other things, and not trying to tell a sad story. I've been unemployed since May. Luckily, I work in the tech industry. So, I got a pretty good 401k I've been dipping into, but, this gives me something to really do to kind of help with the hobby. Some of these I haven't pulled out yet. That I do have. If anybody's interested, I'll be happy to. This is, of course, the Venom #1, second print Virgin. I've got a few of these. I bought a few of these because I just love this homage cover.
Mm-hmm. I sold the original the other night.
One.
I sold the original of that book the other night.
I just bought the original, and the one right after that I think is even better because it shows Spidey's face zoomed in with Venom in the lenses of his suit. It's really cool.
Nice.
And then I've shown the
You've definitely got some really cool books. I gotta give you credit, man. You're pulling out like awesome book after awesome book, and I got a feeling you got your books go a lot deeper from just the number of boxes you're telling me, and
I got a warehouse.
I got a pretty good spider sense.
I still have these. I bought these at a really good price, and I think that these usually sell for around $15, $20 on eBay. The Stranger Things #1, the Carnage Born for $15, which I think is a good price. Usually these, like when you get them in your boxes from Spider-Man booth, they're usually $20, $25. And these, of course, I think we're getting Tyler Kirkman and Christopher Tyler or somebody else mixed up. Oh, the Venom Unleashed, which I think is kind of a cool cover. And then that's probably one of my favorites still, the Carnage Born cover.
Yeah, those are cool. Scorpion does a lot of cool covers. Oh man, I wanted to check something. I bet if it went online, it's sold out already.
Uh-oh.
I might have dropped the ball on this one, as I so often do.
And if you buy something, for example, like those Last of Us, if you want, I can send those into CGC for you. I have a CGC account. I haven't talked to Todd yet, but I've got some cool CGC books coming in. I'm hoping to do an unboxing. Maybe Todd will.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I love to co-host that with you or share.
Yeah. So, I've never really done any unboxing videos. I kind of like watching them, so we'll see. If you go to my Instagram, I think I've actually posted the ones I sent into CGC. I have sent in some books to get cleaned and pressed, and then I'll be sending those in.
Very cool. I've only submitted books once, and it was to CBCS because I had a Walking Dead 1, and my buddy was like, "Dude, you have that Walking Dead 1. That thing's worth some serious money. You should get that graded." And I'm like, "Well, there's the Daytona Comic Convention. I could drive up there. I think CBCS is always there.
Right.
Sometimes CGC is there." So I woke up late one Saturday morning, and I kind of was like hemming and hawing. And I got in the car about 11:30. I got on the road for about an hour, and I'm like, "Is this really worthwhile?" And I'm driving, and I get there, and I had a bunch of books with me, and they're like, I had a few $100s with me, I think $200 or $300, and I was like, I go to the table, and they're like, "Well, all these books would be like $700 to grade." And I'm like, "Well, okay."
Oh my God.
It's obviously not happening. So I picked out a couple of them. The Walking Dead one was, they said at that time they're like, the Walking Deads are no brainers. You should get those graded.
Yeah.
I got I think 3 or 4. I got Walking Dead 1, 2, and then a couple in the 30s. And then I got, I think, my Fantastic Four 52 graded. So the 52 came back as 6.0, which I was fine with because I knew it was a mid-grade copy. It wasn't destroyed, but it wasn't high grade either. And I bought that book when I was in middle school. I don't even think I bought it, honestly. I think I traded some Rob Liefeld New Mutants and a couple of McFarlane Spider-Mans for it.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
So I can't complain about that one. That's what I used to do even when I was a kid. I would buy a book because there was a comic store across the street from where I went to middle school, and I could go right after school, and I was into comics. You guys see how much I'm into comics, so I just knew I had a sense of I'm going to buy a lot of these first Deadpools. I'm going to buy a lot of these Rob Liefeld New Mutants, these McFarlane Spider-Mans. I was on Liefeld when he did Hawk and Dove. That's, I remember, liking him there. I think, I always thought he showed an incredible amount of promise. I just don't know that he ever grew for me. Like,
yeah, I bought my Hawk and Dove. You still have it?
Yeah. No, I shipped it.
You shipped it? Okay. All right.
I shipped you 2 boxes. 2 boxes because they wouldn't all fit in 1 box. I didn't even ask you for any more shipping.
Oh, hit me up for that.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm sure you'll do me a favor at some point in the future. That's all I consider. I'm not worried about every dollar. I'm really not. I mean, honestly, if I'm not sure if somebody's paid shipping, I'll 9 times out of 10, I'll just ship because, and if I find I forgot to ship something, I'll reach out and I'll own it. I mean, I screw up. I'm a human being. I work 5 days a week. I put a lot of hours in. I mean, I pretty much work Monday through Friday, and then Saturday I do packing and running to the post office all day. It's literally I wake up. I usually go out to breakfast with my aunt, and then I'm working on. A lot of it is like figuring out who paid what and tracking down what everybody's name is because nobody puts the freaking YouTube name in their PayPal. So it's like playing a match game where you're like decoding, where you have to look at 3 different things and you're figuring out this cipher for who's who.
Hitting us on IG really helps us a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And so I do that Saturday, and then Sundays I pretty much will do. I have to. Sundays I got to drop off my FOC order with my buddy. So I also do my planning for the week for school. So I'll usually go in, do all my planning stuff. Maybe if I have to do any errands for shopping, food shopping, put gas in my car, all that stuff. That's my Sunday, and it's like school prepping for school and hanging out at the comic store for an hour or 2 and just hanging out. I got a film. I got this. I get all excited. I bought this gimbal thing too.
Oh, cool.
The film to go do store tours.
One of these days going back to stores and shows and stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I got 2 stores lined up for store tours. Two here in Vegas. And when I start traveling again, I'll take it with me and I'll drive around, all over the country if I can, and pop into stores and be like, hey, you want a little promo on YouTube or a store tour video?
So finish your CBCS story because I have a feeling where you're going with it. And I see Spectre. I'll tell you McFarlane's story in a secon, Spectre.
Oh yeah, I kind of got derailed there. I went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
Look, it's been on my Instagram since I got it, but I got a 9.9 first. Basically, the first and I got a 9.9. And as fast as I got that book, I sold that book because
hell yeah,
I was I had I think $1.50 into it because when I bought that book, when you want to hear the thing you'll really cry over, when I bought that book, I was buying tons of books. That's around the time of Origin #1, which I went through 100 copies of. Batman 608, I did 350 copies of. Wow. I was eBaying like crazy back then, but I was, I've had tons of incredible books, but I've sold a lot of books. That's just the way it goes. You can't keep everything. And so I was looking through the previews one night, hanging out with my buddy, and He's like, dude, look, a zombie. And we were always into zombie movies. We love the George Romero movies. And he's like, hey, look, a zombie comic. He's like, you should order that. I'm like, okay. So I ordered 10 copies.
Wow.
Hey, order that. And I sold 9 of them on eBay for $5 a piece. And I was happy because I made $20 on that book. I was like, that was a good book. I sold them. I made my $45. I paid him $25, whatever. And he's like, let's keep one. I'm like, okay, whatever. We kept that 1, 2, and a 3. So I got the 1 and the 2 graded. And I can't find the 3. The 1 came back in 9.9. The 2 came back in 9.6. So I was like, you know what? I'll sell the 1 and I'll keep the 2. And that's my Walking Dead book for my collection. And
wow.
You know, and that honestly, that funded a lot of the black crates that I got behind me that are filled with, like, I don't know if you saw were you at the live stream I did Sunday night where I grabbed 1 box and I went through it. I just went through it book by book.
I did not watch it. I was not at the live stream. I was busy Sunday night.
No worries. But I mean, it just happened to be a box with a lot of Batman and Spider-Man. So it had like my Dark Knight Returns books and and some like old detectives, like 12 centers and 30 centers.
Oh, nice.
Stuff in different ranges. And then all my Spidey stuff, like my 50, my 60, the early Kingpin appearances, my first Prowler, my first Rhino, like my 119, my 120, the Spidey Hulk battle. I think my 2 300s. One of those 300s I bought when it was new, like on the stand. That was like my reader copy that I hung on to. I mean, and it's in pretty decent. When you look at it and you realize I bought it when I was probably like, when did that come out? 88.
Yeah, it was late 80s, early 90s,
something like that. I was probably in 8th or 9th grade, and the fact that I kept it in pretty decent shape for having read it as many times as I read it.
Yeah.
And looked at the art and poured over it. It's got some ticks, but it's not abused. There's no, it's not folded. There's no giant creases or folds or tears. Good night, Popeye. Hit me up on IG, and if you come through Vegas, you're definitely welcome to hit me up, and we can go on a comic hunt. I'll definitely be happy to show you some spots.
Yeah. So CBCS to me is harsher graders than CGC. I've had some not great luck with getting some books back from CBCS, which hurts my feelings because I'm in Houston, they're up in Dallas.
Okay.
So it's crazy easy for me to ship to them and stuff, unlike CGC, which is in Florida. But they're notoriously harder to me because I've sent in some beauties. And with CBCS, you can even get, like, one of my books came back with an asterisk. And when you look it up on their website, what it is, it's an imperfection that can't be seen by the eye. So they knocked a 9.2 down to a 7.5. And I argue with them. I'm like, you can't see it by the eye, then it's not an imperfection. How did you find it? Oh, well, if you look underneath a magnifying glass, blah, 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 then you can see this slight discoloration across. I'm like, but you can't see it by the eye. That is your definition of your asterisk.
I think how do I say this? Take grading. I think you got to take grading with a certain grain of salt. Like, I will always trust my eye more than I trust the grade on a slab. In other words, I will buy, and I know I'm not the first person to say this, but I buy the book, not the grade. So
I don't care about 9.8.
I don't, and it's, except
that's
like
a beautiful 8.0.
In terms of buying and selling books, 9.8s get more money.
Yeah.
That's it doesn't have to be, but you're going to get more money.
Yeah.
You're going to have to settle for a lot less with a 9.6 in the same book. And in all honesty, the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think maybe it's clear if you submit 25 books and you see the ones that make it and you see the ones that don't, maybe you can extrapolate some understanding out of, and if you do that enough times. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. My buddy was like, we were talking about getting that Walking Dead grading. I pulled it out of the bag and I handled it with my paws. You know, there was no gloves on my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it and I looked it up and down with a fine-tooth comb. And I said to him, dude, I don't see anything wrong with this book. I don't know how they grade stuff. I don't know what they do I don't know what, I just don't know. You know, it's like, your
difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8, I mean,
come down to
the definition they put on CGC, is unclear. All it says is a 9.6 has maybe one more imperfection than the 9.8. Well, that's not a definition. I mean, because I don't know what 9.8 is.
What is the upper limit of defections for a 9.8?
Exactly.
And
all right, so I'll tell my Todd McFarlane story real quick. So back in 1990 was the very first Atlanta Dragon Con. And I went there with a buddy of mine and Todd McFarlane. It was like one of his very first conventions, like Amazing Spider-Man 300 had just come out. And, that was super popular. So, I hung out with a lot of cool people there. John Byrne, I ended up hanging out with. Him talking to me about drawing and stuff. I met Will Eisner,
that's cool.
who sadly, like none of the new collectors really even knew of Will Eisner, right? I knew of Will Eisner.
I've read I've been into his graphic. I've been reading his graphic novels ever since, I don't know, for years. He came out with the stories of like him growing up and
that's what he's credited with creating the graphic novel genre.
Sure.
His book on sequential art, which
I have it.
Kayfabe just did a thing on it. You can go look at it. I did a video on it, but so my Will Eisner story, I'll tell you real quick, was we were at the hotel and walking out of the drugstore with John Byrne. And I'm talking to him, and John Byrne's like, I think that's Will Eisner. And I said, yeah, that's Will Eisner. I said, I talked to him for a long time earlier today. I said, you want to meet him? And he said, yeah. So I introduced John Byrne to Will Eisner.
Nice.
And they talked for a minute. And Will Eisner remembered me because I hung out there and talked to him earlier that day. And he's telling me stories about Jack Kirby and stuff.
Cool.
And Will said, look, he's like, I'm actually at the hotel across the street. And someone was supposed to come by and walk me over there. He said, do you mind walking me? And I said, no, sir, of course, I'd be honored to. And so he puts his arm around me, and kind of puts his weight on me, and I walk him across the parking lot and the street to his hotel. And he starts telling me the story about, him starting his studio and doing the Yellow Kid and things like that from 1930s, and it was just amazing.
Wow, yeah.
But anyway,
that was history.
Oh yeah, it's great. And so Todd McFarlane was signing only the next day, and what they did was, you walked into a room and there was 50 chairs set up, and everybody sat in a chair.
Okay, Nick, have a good night, man.
Oh, good night. And Todd would walk up and down the aisle, and you could hand him, I think, 3 books or something. He signed them really quick. So it's just a room full of 50 chairs, 50 people, and he walked up and down the aisle. So he walked right in front of you, right? Like his dick is there in your face. But he's telling stories and stuff as he's walking up and down the aisle. And he actually said that before the popularity of Spider-Man, because he was still playing minor league baseball in Canada.
Really?
He's Canadian, right? And that's why he's a big baseball fan. you know.
I bought those.
And he was talking about before he got popular with Spider-Man, he was actually thinking about quitting art and devoting his time to baseball and seeing if he could get to the major leagues. And then he got his break with Marvel, and him and his wife was living in a trailer, and yeah, and then got popular with Spider-Man, but he was still, that was the first season he had not played minor league ball. He was still doing art and playing minor league ball at the same time.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen
no one thought Todd McFarlane would be anything.
I watch a couple of his drawing like things he does where he does like demos or talks about his technique. It's pretty cool just to watch it, to watch him draw and listen to him talk about it.
Yeah, it was an interesting time because I owned a store back then from 88 to 93. And so, you know, I got in the VHS tapes of like, you know, Stan Lee with Rob Liefeld, Stan Lee with Todd McFarlane.
I had one old videotape. It was called The Masters of Comic Book Art.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
You know that? Well, it was like a vignette. It had like these little like, it was less of an interview and more of just different. It was hosted by Harlan Ellison.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. Then.
He basically introduced. It's on YouTube. I think I've seen it on YouTube. It's very dry, but if you love this stuff, it's
yeah.
It's you can't stop. It's got like Bernie Wrightson.
Oh wow.
Mobius, Will Eisner. Who else? Ditko. You don't see Ditko, but he talks. You hear his voice, and he talks about the philosophy of Mr. A.
Yeah.
And who else? Oh, man.
I'll tell you another story. Back then in 1990 at that show, all the artists signed their name on the inside front cover, right under the indentia, right?
Yeah.
In ballpoint pen. That's why they signed them. And there was a warning before you went into Todd McFarlane's room that said he'll sign on the cover. So if you did not want your comic destroyed, then it was warning because he was going to sign on the cover. Back then, it was considered destroying the comic when someone signed their name on the cover, and that was the sign.
It's interesting how things change. I have a copy of Alpha Flight 1 that I bought for $4 in probably 1984 or 85 from my first comic shop. That's signed by John Byrne on the inside, right where you described the indicia. I have a couple of books. I have a lot of some of my Perez books are signed on the inside, and I think some are signed on the cover.
Yeah.
In like ballpoint pen.
Yeah, in ballpoint pen. That's the way they signed back then.
It's not. I don't care. Those are books I collected. I consider those like as a childhood. You know,
right.
he'd come to a show. He lived in Sanford. He lives in Sanford, Florida, and he would come down to like West Palm Beach, and he'd sign as many books as you wanted. There was a show when I was probably in high school that I set up at my table. It was at a hotel down in Miami. I was right next to him for like the whole con, just listening to him talk and watching him draw. Unfortunately, I didn't buy a sketch at that time. I should have, but I was able to get a sketch later when I donated some money to Heroes Con. I think I showed it on that live stream on Sunday. It's a Kid Flash sketch.
Oh, that's cool.
So
yeah, but back then, any writing on the cover was considered destroying the comic book. Overstreet actually had that in their grading because the grading guide just came out back then about that time. And writing the cover and date stamps were frowned upon. But nowadays,
nobody likes second prints and Things
Just
were
like Second Prince. I know it's crazy, Todd, that
things were very different. Things change.
and people didn't want newsstands back then. Newsstands were
Newsstands were garbage.
considered ugly because it had the barcode. Everybody wanted direct editions.
They were literally considered worthless.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
nowadays it's just opposite. It just still twists my brain.
it's. I mean, I get it. It's look. Part of me is it's very contrived, and
Very
at some point, yes, the newsstands are very rare. When the newsstand is almost extinct and they're exclusively sold in like bookstores and places like that, or Books a Millions, where very few copies are getting purchased because most of the copies are damaged or not in the condition a collector wants. You know, I get it if you find like a super high grade, but again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't say I don't value a high grade book because I like seeing that book. You know, a book in a 9.8. But I don't like. You've probably seen some of my big first appearances, like my Werewolf by Night 32. It's a 6.5. I'm over the moon with it. I'm as happy as can be. I don't need to upgrade that. I mean, if some point I can, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, I would, you know, but I can, that's perfectly good to be in my PC for as long as it wants to be there. You know, like I have a real nice raw Marvel Special Edition 15, really, really nice raw one. I was able to pick up recently an 8.5 at a very good price. So now I guess I have to get that raw one graded and see how it comes out.
Right.
It's going to come. I can probably sell either book for a good amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Spencer, Todd didn't have very much artwork before Spider-Man. And that 300 was, I mean, like I said, I owned a store when 300 came out. It was.
I liked.
It was like a freaking explosion.
I remember what I remember is I had been collecting Hulk, and his art started to evolve.
People really started.
Yep. His art was starting to evolve, and when that 340 came out, that was when his art really took on what it looked like when he really blew up. And he did a couple more issues of Hulk.
There was two covers. One where the Gray Hulk come busting out.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
And then the Wolverine cover, which is what you're talking about, just exploded with popularity. And then he was actually doing Hulk and Spider-Man, I think, sequentially for a couple issues. But then when 300 came out, where you had this red cover, all these number 300s, this circle, and this crazy looking Spider-Man with his legs up around his ears and this crazy webbing and this villain called Venom, that thing just blew up. I mean, I remember going to grocery stores and buying newsstand copies and taking them back to my store and selling them for $10. You know, and the direct issues were selling for $20 because no one wanted the newsstand because they were up. But yeah, I had 3 of those signed by Todd McFarlane at that book at that signing, and I sold them for like $40-$50. You know.
Hey, I won't tell you what I sold my Hulk 181 for, and my original Amazing Spider-Man 129, and my original 181. And
you know what's funny? People
I won't tell you what I sold my FF19 for. Holy moly!
And used to that Spider-Man 129 was considered the second appearance of Punisher because he was in Marvel's magazine before then, and that was the high-priced book for a long time. Somehow it became that 129. I'm not sure how over the years.
I think anytime it's in a magazine, they have a little bit of a challenge. Now I think they're a little more open. You know, it's I don't even think it matters really what is the published first, when it comes to value. The market decides what the money book is.
Yeah.
Because times it's the full, there's times it's the cameo. You know, with Wolverine, it's the full. It's 181. There's no doubt about it. You know, there's a point where 181 gets so expensive, people will start going for 180 and 182 because they're just more affordable and they're connected to his first appearance.
Right. I have no idea, G-Rip. Todd may know.
Other than you're selling tomorrow?
I'm selling tomorrow.
So there's two of us.
The best two anyway. I mean, what do you want?
Meta will be there. I can't speak, matter of fact on anybody else because honestly, that's Meta's thing. He's the manager when it comes to that. I thought it was funny on the last auction when I was doing my spiel and somebody says, "Hey, Todd, you're the chief of Midnight Market," or something like that. I don't remember who said it. And then Meta was like, "Curse you," or like, "Damn you." Hey, the chat has spoken. When the chat speaks, the chat speaks.
Yeah, it wasn't in Foom, Spectre. It was like Marvel Super Special or something like that.
Yeah, I can picture.
I think the Marvel preview is where that Punisher first appeared. But yeah, I'm not sure if I would call Todd necessarily a pro. He was in the industry off and on for several years before then. But but nowadays it's just like that Marvel Point One that was sold the other night in the auction for like $200-300 because it has supposedly the first appearance of Kamala Khan. But it's basically a preview book, you know.
It goes to what Spectre's saying here. Food magazine should not count. It's like a lot of people are getting exciting about Marvel Age appearances. To me, that's an advertisement.
Advertisement. So is Marvel One. So is Marvel Previews. But then that Marvel Previews with Miles Morales.
You can collect it if you want, but to me, it's not. But that's my old school sensibility. And if there's a new school, they have a right to their sensibility. So, as I've said before, collect what you want, and I'll collect what I want, and it's all good. I'm not going to pay $100 for previews. I've thrown out too many of those previews because when I'm done going through them, I don't need them. I saved them for a while until I realized I had boxes of previews. Why do I need boxes of previews? It's just not. It gets a point where it's just like, I don't know. I don't live in a warehouse.
You better believe after seeing how much that Marvel Point One went for the other night, I started looking for my copy.
I got a 9.4.
So
I pulled the 9.4.
Yeah, preview 27 sounds right. Papa Willie, how much is CGC on comics and sports cards? CGC doesn't do sports cards, but they are now doing Pokemon and Magic. I don't know what their grading cost is. On comics, the cost depends on the value and the age of the comic book.
Yeah, they both are like that. When I got my my Walking Dead graded, they hit me up and they're like, "So we have a value book at a FFP of it was 5 figures." And I was like, "It's going to cost you this amount." It was like a couple $100, and I'm like, I talked to my buddy, and I'm like, "That's good, right?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, that means you got like a 9.9 or a 10, just on the numbers what they were saying it was worth." Because 9.8, it was like triple what 9.8s were going for.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, I'll pay up."
Yeah. For me too, I just did my invoice for Hulk 181, which is probably a 6 or 7 grade, which means it's about a $1,600 to $1,800 book. It's going to be like $200, so it's a percentage of the value of the book.
7 or something.
Huh?
It's like 1.7, 1.75%, something like that, I think.
That's as much as 10%.
10%? Wow.
But CBS tiers are different too. Like
Okay.
CGC, it's from modern age to 200, modern age to 400, are two different tiers. CBCS is modern age up to $700, and that's one tier. And so CBCS is actually cheaper than CGC in grading. However, like I said, I've had some issues
Well,
with
I got
CBCS.
a CGC 9.8 book that has a tape pull on the cover. It's missing. I mean, it's a 9.8.
Yeah.
But G-Rip, let me address this. Do you? Let me clarify. Are you saying you have to mentally prepare if foiled is there? When you say gotta mentally prepare if foiled is there, is it that you have to mentally prepare or I have to mentally prepare? I do not mentally prepare for him. I am the windshield of a semi truck 18 wheeler, and he is but a fly. And what he does is feel the greater inertia. There is no preparation needed. I mean, his name is Foiled again. He loves foiled covers. Come on. Need I say more?
Oh, thank you, Blue Eyed Sweetheart.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's good.
I'm not trying to just rag on him. I'm just the persona's taking over a little.
Yeah, even though he hangs stuff on his grandmother's shelves.
Yep. It's again Autumn Ranch. It's not up to us. It's Meta's auction.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he kind of runs the show. I'm there every show and sell books. Yeah,
the fooms are amazing. I love the color art and color on those old books.
You know what's funny? I see the fooms at Velvet Underground, and I like think about them, but I'm like, man, they're expensive.
They're expensive.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I figure eventually I'll find some like at just a more affordable entry point and see if it's something I dig, and then if I'm into it, then I don't care. Then I'm just like, okay, if that's what it costs and nobody else has it and I want it, that's what I'm gonna have to pay.
Yeah. And do y'all know what FOOM stands for? Friends of Old Marvel.
Why do I want to say Old Mary Marvel? Is that the Mary Marvel?
That's the Mary Marvel Marching Society.
Thank you. Thank you, Blue-Eyed Sweetheart. Listen, if you I love that you stop by and you're hanging out. Yeah. And if you like what you're hearing, and you're not seeing much, but if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're hearing, please sub. Throw me a sub. Throw Shelby a sub. Everybody
on IG. I will be doing videos later.
A lot of good folks in the chat. Sub everybody up. That's how we grow the community. That's how we connect with other collectors. Thank you so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with us, Blue-Eyed Sweetheart.
Now, you know what I found a couple of years ago is
I agree, Spectre. I agree with you. But I'm going to be honest with you, and if I come across like a Malibu Sun with Spawn in it, I'm going to pick it up if I can and sell it and make profit if I can. Yeah. I don't think profit's a dirty word. It's not anything I'm going to collect. It's not anything I want to put in my PC. It's just not. I'm pretty much like, I like certain characters, and I like, copper, bronze, and silver. And I'm getting into gold. I've picked up a few EC books, and I like them. And they're expensive. They're pricey. So I'm not picking those up every other day or every other week. It's once in a blue moon, and that's where I'm at. But I'm at a point where I'm like, when I try to think about copper first appearances, like, I don't really care if I have Taskmaster's first appearance. It doesn't mean anything to me. I have Deadpool's first appearance, which it means something to me because I bought it off the stands and I read that book and I enjoyed it as a kid. I have the Venom 300. I have the copy I bought as a kid, and then I have another copy I bought that's probably like a 9.2 or a 9.4, a nice copy that I probably have like 100 and a quarter into. And then like the Copper Age stuff is that's cool. I like it. Like I have a lot of the Batman keys from that era. Not all of them, but a bunch of them. But when I get more into the bronze and silver keys. Like the next big book I'm probably gonna I'd like to get is probably the Spotlight 5, that first Ghost Rider, because that's one
I just one of those I just sent off.
That's just one book I've never I have 2 Tomb of Dracula 10s. Okay, I have doubles on that book. I have a 7.5 and a 5.5.
Yeah,
but I just haven't. One hasn't crossed my path. Another Bronze Age book that I just haven't been able to put my hands on is the first Blue Furry Beast.
Yeah, I got
Adventures 11, I think. I saw one at Velvet Underground. He had one, and I was so tempted. It was a nice copy, and he wanted $100 for it, and I was like, almost ready to pull the plug, just because I wanted the book. But
the time to buy it is when you see it. I'll tell you my worst.
My problem with the copy was, how back then they do the distributor ink and they do a stripe across the book.
Oh yeah.
This was one where they went like this across the book, and the top of the book was red, and it even bled onto it. And I'm like, I just knew, honestly, I'm not going to be happy with that. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to be like, why did you buy that book? It doesn't really fit with the rest of it. I mean, like, look, I have some low grade books because I bought collections, and like I got my Batman 181 first Poison Ivy in a collection. It's not a bad copy, but somebody at some point took a scissor to it and got a slice into it about yay long. So it's a low grade book, but it's my Batman 181. I had perfectly happy with that copy of that book. It's even got the poster in it.
One of my biggest regrets, and I still think about it. And this is a funny story because it's actually, I was at a convention back in the mid 80s in Austin, Texas. And I had just found a store was closing down in my hometown, and there was a closet that had been covered up with boxes that they didn't know was there.
Mm-hmm.
And inside was Star Wars TIE Fighters and remote control R2-D2 still in the box.
Wow.
from 1970, 78, right? And this was, like I said, mid 80s. I ended up buying the collection. We went to Austin, and I was trading remote control R2-D2s for Migos still on the package, right? And at that time, they had just let out because Dale had gotten sold to Random House. And there was a Dale file copy of Space Ghost #1.
Wow. That's an awesome book.
Awesome book. And the guy wanted $110 for it. I offered him $100. He didn't take it. And I still kick myself for not buying that book.
When I was a kid, my buddy asked me, he gave me a choice to buy 2 comics, Iron Fist 15 or Hulk 181. They were one was like a $25 book and one was a $40 book.
At that same show, I was standing there talking to a dealer, and he said, look, I want to drum up some business and stuff. I can't go to this other dealer, but he's got a real low grade Amazing Fantasy 15. Will you go buy it for me and bring it back, and I'm going to do it as a raffle. Now, this thing literally looked like it had been run over by a truck in a mud, in like a mud pool, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could literally see tire tracks on this thing, okay? But it was Amazing Fantasy 15 for $100.
Wow.
So for 15 minutes, I actually owned an Amazing Fantasy 15 from when I bought it from this one dealer and gave it to this other dealer.
Like, no, I'm just buying it.
So I owned an Amazing Fantasy 15 for 15 minutes in my life.
Hey, at least you owned it.
I owned it.
15. Well, I'm laughing because here's Papa Wheelie saying we need to spam the chat tomorrow if Foiled is on it. I love that you guys have my back. Thank you. G Ripson. Okay, why did they make the Beast blue? I think it was just blue pops more than gray, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of the same reason Hulk went from gray to green.
Rock would definitely be all over it.
So you still have the Mary Marvin Martin side. I promise it's my last story. So I went to one of these small shows in a hotel, basement of a hotel. And this guy was setting up, and he set this just crate of stuff down. And it was all of these letters that this guy had sent in to Marvel and gotten responses back on Marvel letterhead, signed by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Dick Ayers. I mean, just all of these people, right? And I'm like, what the hell, dude? I said, are you selling any of this stuff or whatever? He's like, dude, I didn't mean to bring out this box. I just bought this collection. The guy died, and I bought this from his family on my way over here to the show. And it just happened to be in front of everything else. So it's sitting right here. Hey, Honda Jabroni, thank you for your purchases yesterday, dude.
What's up, Honda Jabroni?
And
so, a little preview for tomorrow, and Shelby's telling some great stories.
So I dig to the back of the box. He said, I'm not selling.
Have a good night, Glenn. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We'll definitely see you tomorrow night.
I dig to the back of the box. I see this manila envelope that said Marvel Comics on it. I open it up. It is the full Mary Marvel Marching Society package.
Nice.
Except for the record. It had the card and everything. Perfect condition.
That's cool.
And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, but I got to buy this from you. What do you want for this? And he kind of glanced at it. He's like, I'm not sure. I really didn't want to sell anything out of this box. I said, dude, I said, I'm not walking away without this. And I'm thinking $350. This is what I'm willing to pay, $350, $400, because just that Marvel Marching Society membership card goes for, in great shape, about $600-700. He said, give me $100. I could not pull it out fast enough.
There's such a like what am I trying to say? I feel like there's a certain like illusion when it comes to comic prices and collectible prices. Like, that's why I sell a lot of the stuff the way I do, where it's just like, I don't know if you saw, I had a 6.0, that first the first solo Moon Knight book, the Spotlight.
Yeah.
I started it at $1, and I paid like $100 for it. And it's just, you know what? I listen. I really believe that a book like that, when you get to a certain level with books, I know who's in the chat, and I know we got some real collectors, and I believe that the merit of that book is going to be shown in the price. I could be wrong, but
I think that book is overpriced myself, because there was hype around Moon Knight that never really has come to fruition. And I much prefer that run because, not that Marvel Spotlight, but its first appearance in Werewolf by Night. I much prefer that run because I love Werewolf by Night, not Moon Knight,
Well, I think there's Moon Knight's hot right now because of the show that is supposed to be coming out on Disney.
But that's been talked about for a couple of years now, right?
But everything's kind of been on hold, so I think that's going to happen. I think things are going to come around and they're going to get back on track. They'll eventually get Black Widow out in some form. It might be that things are different, and when movie theaters aren't the main way that new movies are consumed. It's in a way, I think it's a long time coming. Because if
Yeah.
we've all got the capacity to see a new movie in the comfort of our own home, it just comes down to figuring out how to do it, economically. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like the paradigm of record and cassette stores and CD stores going away.
Digital, yeah.
And it's like, I don't need, like, it's funny. I when it comes to music, I have no desire to have any kind of physical media. None whatsoever. I'm perfectly happy. I got Spotify. If I want to listen to anybody, I just type it in and there it is.
Yeah.
I can listen in my room. I can listen in my car. I can listen in my classroom. I don't have to have a big stereo. I don't have to have any media. It's just simple. But yet, when I have something like, I'll just grab a random book. Now I have something like this. It's all about the touch and the feel and even the smell.
Even the smell.
It's just it's a visceral experience. And not that music isn't a visceral experience, but it's just, I don't know. I just, that's where I get into like the older kind of superhero stuff.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I have all the Marvel novelizations and stuff. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they cut up the panels and stuff. Yeah.
I have a bunch of the Marvel, DC.
Yeah, I agree with you, Papa Willie. My daughter, who is 30, collects records now. So,
I mean, records. Look, I get it. Records are cool. I had a buddy in Florida who had a huge record collection, and we'd hang out and listen to records, and it's cool. And it's it's as cool as collecting comics. I'm not, I'm nobody's judge, but it's just not something it's just not something I got into. I like listening to music. I love music, but having it available to me like digitally works for me.
yeah. All right, so we're over 2 hours. How about you, buddy?
I'm feeling it. I'm ready. We ended up talking pretty late last night after the auction, so I didn't get much sleep last night. So I'm feeling like we can definitely put a knot in this. If you're feeling it, I'm
it's 12:45 where I'm at, so
fair enough.
And I gotta go over. I gotta finish tomorrow trying to get everything ready for the auction and stuff. So,
is there anything you want to say before we sign off? Go ahead.
IG, you guys just follow me on IG. I always post some stuff. I posted some previews earlier this week. I'll be doing that more regularly. If there's something you see, message me on IG. If there's something you want to see, like or that I might have, message me on IG, and I'll be happy to pull it out for the auction, or even work a deal outside of the auction. So, definitely just hit me up. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night.
Cool. Thank you, Shelby. Hang out, man. We'll talk a bit if you're okay with that.
All right, I'm going to get some more water.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, everybody, just thank you so much for hanging out. To over 2 hours. Got 9-10 of you still here. Amazing. Anything you guys need from me, hit me up on IG. You know where to find me. If it's basically, if you know Gorilla Todd Comics, you can find me. Whether it's IG, email, YouTube. If you haven't subbed me up, please sub me up. If you're checking me out for the first time and you like what you heard, throw me a sub. I appreciate it. Trying to build the channel. I got some cool content coming, I think. We're gonna do some different things. I'm gonna be popping in different shows. I'm gonna give old comic book poser a hard time about the debate. Me and Foiled, we got a special friendship that's just starting to kind of meld and form, and you guys are watching that as it grows. So yeah, hit me up. I'll be let's see, tomorrow's Wednesday. Auction with the Midnight Market on Metaphorical's channel. Thursday, please head over to Comic on the Mind's channel. for our show Teachers Lounge. We go back and forth. We'll be on his. We were on my channel last week. We'll be on his channel this week. It's episode 11. We'll be back on mine for 12. And it's some good conversation, good comic talk. And then Friday I'll be back on Midnight Market with Meta and the crew. Otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out. It's been I love it. Grandma's chair. Oh, that's great, Papa Wheelie. Thank you so much, Papa Wheelie, Spectre. Great hanging out and chatting, and Honda Jabroni, Glenn Smith, G-Rip, Blue Eyed Sweetheart, Autumn Roch, Kay Titus, Nut Punch, Glenn Smith, trying to make Popeye 310, Lisa Noble, Emmy Comics, Kay Titus, LBD Prophecy, thanks for hanging out. Double A Comics, Spooky 2384, Digital Senpai, William Smallwood, Double A Comics. I might be repeating some now. I'm sorry. But hey, and Captain Comics, GPAP. I think that's everyone who's been hanging out, at least in the chat. So till next time, for more Gorilla Todd goodness, thank you to my special guest, Shelby. I think he's got some great books he's going to be sharing with us on the auctions, and I think he'll be my guest in the future if he ever wants to be. He's always welcome. So have a good night, everybody. Till next time, more Gorilla Todd goodness.